Yoink!
Ladies, gentlemen, and captains of all ages, Starfield is quite a mystery as far as games go, and more so than any RPG I have played in years, honestly. It is a ridiculously RNG-based game. 99% of the loot that exists in this game is dropped entirely randomly with very little ways to control it. Whether the loot drops or not in the first place is random, the quality of the loot that drops is random, and the effects that are on that loot are random too. But while they are few and far between, there are some set pieces of equipment in specific locations across the galaxy that are simply the same for everyone, and a number of them are actually quite strong, and all of the ones that I will be mentioning today are accessible very early into the story as soon as you are free to travel wherever you want. It's worth mentioning these aren't legendary weapons or equipment, as there are no legendary set equipment pieces at least early on in the game before you have to make some major commitments. That said, these weapons are still quite strong, the main reason being their actual weapon type is rare more than anything else, so you won't find them often outside of these set spots, and the armor are pretty great too for their own reasons. Starting off then, let's talk New Atlantis. This is the first major city that you will find in the game. You'll come here very early in the story, and you go to the lodge as a part of this. You talk to the people that are inside of it, and you join their group. Well, once you have officially joined, and at any point afterwards if you choose to, you can now enter the basement of the lodge by using the door at the bottom of the staircase. This will proceed down a fair bit, and then if you follow the path that I'm showing you here, you will find yourself in a bit of a storeroom with a full set of space gear, suit, helmet, and pack locked away in a glass display case. If you walk up to it, you will see it is a master difficulty lock, which you could pick, but as you can imagine, at that difficulty you can't do anything with that for a very long time or a lot of skill investment, but there is a way to be real sneaky here. The display case has, well, gaps where the door has the hinges on the case. So if you just look at it from the right angle and you slowly pan your camera over the gap while looking at the mannequin behind it, you can actually genuinely pull the whole suit through the tiny gap, get this beautiful spacesuit that you definitely aren't intended to get early, and you can get it like 20-30 minutes into the game. The thing is, the suit itself is minimum rarity, so it doesn't have any bonuses on it necessarily, but the actual straight up physical and energy resistances on this thing are nuts. So essentially, it is incredibly defensively strong compared to anything that you will get at this point in the game, and will help you tank a lot of damage as a result, but it is missing any of the bonus effects that higher rarity items get, though for armor that isn't as big of a cost as for weapons would be. So this is absolutely very usable early on in your journey, and quite good defensively, just for the high armor values that it has. After that then, let's leave the lodge, but we aren't going to be going too far. Outside of the lodge there is a really big park. If you run through the park at the exact angle that I am running in this general direction, facing this big station in the middle, when you reach the end of the park this way, you will enter the commercial district of the city. On the left side here, near where the train is to leave the area, there is a United Colonies little vendor hut shop thing. Head inside and then talk to the merchant to access their shop. In this shop there are two special unique weapons, one of which is the N67 smart gun. This is essentially just a minigun. Functionally, it is cool as hell to use a minigun. Of course, everyone wants a minigun, but this thing also breaks armor on enemies with the effect that it has, which makes them more vulnerable to damage, which is an incredibly strong effect to have too. It also comes with a compensator as a mod, as well as armor-piercing rounds. So not only does this thing have a chance to pierce armor, but it also actively removes armor per bullet on something that just has a ridiculous fire rate on it too. So it's just awesome as a weapon, no doubt about it. It's really strong as far as damage per time, the only issue being that it chews up ammo like no tomorrow, as you might expect. That said, it is very good for situations that you want to burst down a big enemy, or if you just want to carry around a minigun for fun, because it is a minigun. It is pretty expensive, but if you want it, it isn't too crazy to save up for even early on. In the same shop then there is a weapon called Rapid Shot. At first glance this may not look crazy, but then you see in the corner that this is a shotgun with 25% increased attack speed, as well as heavily filled out mod list, 6 slots filled, including long barrel, laser sight, tactical stock, tactical magazine, hair trigger, and fully automatic. Essentially, this is a ridiculously specific modified shotgun that takes something that would otherwise be a bit niche and changes it to function totally uniquely, being a full auto increased attack speed shotgun, and that is just a silly thing to have in the right situation. After that, we're going to talk about a spacesuit that fills all of your slots, so this includes the helmet and the pack too, but in one item. And well, before we get too deep into it, I'm going to be very straight up with you. If you want this item, it isn't for power. It is for the sheer enjoyability of it all. It even makes NPCs have unique voice lines at certain points, which is crazy to me. It's crazy the effect that this actually has. To get this then, you want to head to the Sol system, which is our own grouping of planets, a level 1 area by the way, then go to Titan, which is one of the moons of Saturn. On Titan there is an area called New Homestead that you can land at, which you should, then head into the main facility that is in front of you. From there you want to continue forwards and down the stairs that are there to enter the facility facility properly, then look for the area marked facilities, which is near the shop. Down here and there is a clinic down the stairs, and if you open the door to the clinic and then turn around, a doctor should be walking back down the stairs that you just came down behind you. Talk to this doctor, ask them about their feelings about tourists. Make sure that you say that you wish there was something you could do to help, and then something interesting happens. She mentions a plan that she has, and she says it might be best if you did it for her. Bish bash bosh conversation ends, and you have the monster costume spacesuit, which unequips your helmet and pack as well. This has no real value as far as genuine armor, but it looks silly as all hell. It's hilarious to walk around in this, and while part of the dialogue is about how it should scare people, the AI actually doesn't get scared at all. They just think it's funny. And one time when walking through a checkpoint on another planet, I even heard a guard say to his friend as I passed, "Oh look, it's an alien." So clearly everyone can tell that it's a costume, but somehow it just makes this so much better. This is just silliness. I love this level of silliness. The fact that the way that you get this is so random too, and you could easily never even think to do it if you come to this area naturally, but here it is, and it's amazing to me that it even gets new dialogue from random NPCs, which is just pretty awesome all around. Past that, then we have a handful more weapons, 5 specifically to be exact, all of which on one specific planet, being Voli Alpha, in the Voli system over here. On this planet is another one of the larger cities within Starfield itself, known simply as Neon. Get to the system, land in the city, and then get out of the docking area by simply following the path, and then you'll be in the city itself. If you turn right from this point and run all the way to the end, you will find the trade tower. Take the elevator on the right behind the desk, and you want it to bring you to Core Kinetics. This is a gun shop, of course, so talk to the man behind the counter, and eventually he'll let you look at his stock, which contains 2 really awesome unique weapons, but it's worth mentioning that these ones are relatively expensive, the most expensive of the bunch, so I am going to show you what they are and what they do, and then you can decide after you see them if they are worth your credits or not. First up is Mind Tear, a modified energy weapon that has frenzy and application chance on every bullet, as well as a couple of mods on it as well, and this is a weapon type that you will struggle to find just out in the wild, at least early on, as it is a bit of a rare commodity. But this thing fires a ton of pellets in a square shape, it does great damage, but it just eats ammo like all hell. That's the only problem with it. Then at the same vendor we also have Poison Storm, which is somehow even crazier. This one, rather than firing in the square shape, instead works more like a Gatling gun, firing one line at a time up and down in the same square reticle. Again, this is quite a similar weapon in theory, but it's different in its actual function. This one also does a ton of damage at the cost of high ammo consumption, and its unique trait is a chance to cause poison application, and this thing fires exceedingly quickly, so that chance definitely works well with the weapon. Then if you head back out of the trade tower, which is where we entered to get here, and you run back towards the center and cross the left side of the city instead, you will see a building called Neon Tactical. This is another gun shop. Talk to the guy behind the counter, and he too has a couple of unique weapons to sell. The first one is Boom Boom, which is actually a personal favorite of mine, as it is a funky little shotgun with a massive magazine size and a chance to fire off explosive rounds instead of normal ones that are just catastrophic to happen, which is just so cool to see. This vendor's other unique item then is the Buzz Cut, a unique Grendel, which is one of my favorite types of weapon. It has the rapid fire trait for 25% increased attack speed, which is nuts on an already fast weapon, as well as 6 different mods, including stars of the show, armor-piercing rounds to make it more devastating against bigger enemies, and high-velocity rounds to increase the effective range that the weapon has too, really buffing out the actual general weaknesses that this gun type would normally have. Then finally, we have one more spot to cover. Head all the way to the left side of Neon now, and you will find Ryujin Tower. In this entry to the building, there will be a little corner of the room that says Arboron on the wall. Talk to the guy behind the desk beside this sign and ask to see his inventory, and you will find a unique weapon called the Spacer. This is a unique Novolite pistol, which is another weapon type that I'm a really big fan of. Bonus damage in space, which is great. 5 mods, including Annihilator rounds and overclock, so this thing is really quite tricked out. And it's a strong weapon type in general too, so it's absolutely worth checking out. Not to mention at a cost of 13,000 credits only, this thing is a steal for sure. Probably the highest value to price ratio of any of these weapons that are found from the shops that I've talked about today at least. And that does it for today, everyone. There are more unique weapons and armor around the place if you do want to see them, so let me know if you like this and if you want more of it, and of course we will do so if you do. I hope you enjoyed this collection of special set location weapons and armor in Starfield, and I hope they make your journey in the game even better if you pick any of them up for yourself. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.
Goodbye.